17,000 refugees, 15,000, 16,000, month after month, a new chapter in the book of human tragedy. We have heard of many of the other chapters, telling of the DPs, telling of the 12 million refugees and expellees from Eastern Europe, telling of Palestine, India, and Korea. Day after day, 500, 600 persons report in West Berlin to be registered. Never-ending flows the stream of refugees out of East Germany into the West. They all left their homes, often even their families, in order to find in the West German Republic that which they no longer could find in the so-called German Democratic Republic, namely freedom and personal security. In a dictatorship, active resistance is suicide. One has little choice. Either cooperate, silently suffer, or get out. In this totalitarian regime, one is forced to take part in demonstrations and to pay special tribute to Soviet monuments. These people flee in order to escape the Iron Curtain, to escape the daily fear and the material as well as the spiritual straitjacket. But they have committed themselves to a long path of new uncertainty. Since the zone border is hermetically sealed, the refugee stream from the east goes almost entirely through Berlin. In order to be accepted in the west, the refugee must first report to a large transit camp. Registration. It's the long and necessary process in order to be accepted. This newcomer of today is not simply a human being. He is also a file number. Each one brings a tragic human interest story which will leave its mark for a long time to come. There is a lawyer. Year after year, the pressure became stronger and stronger until it became unbearable. He made his decision. There is a farmer. He was not in favor of the official policy of collectivism. Those in power put on pressure. They threatened. He no longer could fulfill his quotas. And the farmer fled with his crippled wife, 3 children, and an aged grandmother. There is a former official. He had quietly spoken with others about politics and had been overheard. He was to be taken into court. There is a teacher. Because of a so-called undemocratic attitude, she had already been relieved of her position. Later, however, she was given a new one. Yet she was still under the suspicion that she had a false ideological orientation. Finally, in order to clear her record, she was ordered to engage in special political activity. Rather than do that, she left for West Berlin. Here are 4 cases, but there are many thousands more. They have destroyed all the bridges behind them. Oh yes, they have reached freedom, but now they have to build a new life, and that is often more difficult than the flight itself. Early in 1953, Chancellor Adenauer of the West German Republic came to Berlin. He discussed with Bürgermeister Reuter, who since has died, the possibility of helping the new refugees. For West Berlin, the refugee stream means an almost unbearable burden. State and welfare organizations cannot cope with the problem alone, but their appeal for outside help is being heard. All these gifts have helped the many who have left everything behind. Not only in Germany is help gathered. All over the world, people have been willing to give. Last year, movie star James Mason gave Bürgermeister Reuter a check for $225,000 gathered in the United States. For many, it is the first time in 20 years that they have had a chance to read an uncensored newspaper. Yes, for many, it is the first such newspaper they have seen in their entire lives. Finally, the hour is at hand. The air transport to the west is ready to take off. For the last time in Berlin, they receive a meal at the airport. The planes are waiting. They will take people who bring with them in the main only their hopes. Hopes but no illusions. They already know that the West German Republic is not that promised land in which milk and honey flow. They know that it will take months, maybe even years, until they are fully assimilated into the economy of their new homeland. Free from the pressures they have withstood for years, they now arrive. But the road ahead is a difficult and hard one. Again, they must be registered, a new number in front of their names. Everywhere, in northern, in western, and in southern Germany are such camps, consisting in the main of old army barracks, factories, and the like. They house at present approximately 350,000 people. State authorities are doing whatever they can for refugees. Medical care is given conscientiously and thoroughly. Any help given at this stage is temporary, as long as it is not possible to find a home and a job for the new refugee. And that is difficult. Over 2 million thus far have fled from the Soviet zone of Germany. Soon after the end of the war, the West German Republic received 8.5 million expellees from other parts of Eastern Germany and Europe. Together, that is more than the entire population of Australia. For these millions, over 11 million, homes and work have to be found. Daily, this problem becomes more difficult because even today, in 1954, more refugees come than can be assimilated. Children present a very special and urgent problem. For the smallest ones, kindergartens have been arranged. The older children go into the schools of the camp. It is not easy to help the young people get used to a normal order of things. In these living rooms, the eyes of all see everything that happens. Here there are no partitions. You live with your neighbors, lots of neighbors. There can be no real rest and quiet. At no time is one alone. The main thing to keep them busy is always to wait. There are tremendous tasks for the voluntary agencies and the churches. State authorities can ease some of the material needs, but these people need more. They need counseling, they need encouragement, they need a friend to whom they can turn with their personal problems. Here again, the help from person to person is important. Here begins the love for one's neighbor. When these people gather in the camp church, their prayer is not only one of thanksgiving. They are also asking that God may give them strength and courage for a still uncertain future. The mighty refugee stream goes on incessantly. Daily a new chapter is being written. Refugees, the problem of our times, of our world, a problem which can only be solved if we will help.